Let's go over Star Wars Episode 9 when it comes to the final film of the sequel trilogy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, these past couple of weeks we've been learning a whole lot more about the final film of this trilogy that JJ will be directing. In fact, today marks the very first day of principal photography for Star Wars Episode 9. Now, next week, alright, something very interesting is happening over in Cardington. In case you guys didn't know, Cardington in the UK is the first confirmed location for principal photography of Episode 9. Now, that is the same exact location that they used for the Yavin 4 base in A New Hope and Rogue One. Now, the reason as to why I believe what's going to be happening next week, honestly, I think that this points us in the right direction, that this could very well be the return of Yavin 4, because tons of ships apparently are docked that resemble X-Wings. These could very well be the E-Wings that we heard lightly about a couple of weeks ago. Now, a big shoot is set for next week that will involve hundreds of extras that will consist of creatures and pilots. Billy D is said to have a sequence there, as well as Daisy Ridley. Said scene will be a 4-day shoot. Now, the thing that I'm imagining right now is that this could very well be a very similar sequence to what we got in the very beginning of The Last Jedi. You guys may remember Billy Lord's, sequence on the planet Dakar, evacuating that base that belonged to the Resistance. It could be a very small scene like that for all we know, or it could very well be an elongated scene. That's what I'm really, kind of envisioning right now, that it's going to be similar to something around those lines. What's really piquing my interest, though, is that the character of Rey may very well have quite a number of interactions with Lando Calrissian inside of the Cardington sheds, which, once again, guys, is the same exact location that they used for the Yavin 4 base in Rogue One and A New Hope. We do know that Billy D. Williams is a part of Episode 9 now and is back as Lando Calrissian. So I think that if they want to give him a really great role in this movie, something meaningful, I think that he should very well actually take over the Millennium Falcon. How amazing would that be? Because we do know that he really can't walk too well. He uses a cane a lot. I think that what he's going to do is that they're going to give him a lot of stationary shots, and he's going to reunite with Chewbacca and Nien Nunb inside of the Falcon, taking down First Order TIE fighters and new ships, you name it. Now, the other thing that I do want to go over is how there are all these different sets being built that resemble that of the X-Wings, but they aren't the X-Wings. If you guys go ahead and look up the E-Wing, they kind of remind you of an X-Wing, so that is what I believe that they are, because we heard lightly that E-Wings would be a part of Star Wars Episode 9. JJ and crew, they're trying to really reintroduce a lot of these ships that aren't quite known in the Star Wars franchise, in the Star Wars franchise. So with that being said, this scene, to me, it either sounds like an evacuation scene, or maybe even a scene very much similar to what we got at the very end of Star Wars A New Hope, where they all, decide to regroup, hop in their ships, and go off into a space battle. Now, how would you guys feel about that if they did something very similar to Star Wars A New Hope, either in the very beginning of the movie or at the very end of the film? Again, we really don't know all too much so far about the scene, other than the fact that there are ships, sets that resemble X-Wings but are not X-Wings. It's a big shoot that will be set for next week and will actually be for 4 whole days, and Billy D and Daisy Ridley will be there for that 4-day shoot only. Otherwise, Daisy Ridley's going to be over at Pinewood Studios and on whatever locations that they actually decide to use for Star Wars Episode 9 outside of studio, also known as on-location sites. So, guys, I gotta say, I'm very excited to see what JJ and Chris Terrio are really going to bring the Star Wars fans. We've been hearing a lot about this film, how prequel trilogy continuity is going to play a large role in this movie, as well as original trilogy content, combining all 9 movies into one big movie. We've also heard from the Weekly Planet a couple of days ago, hopefully this comes into fruition, that Disney and Lucasfilm are actually toying around with the idea of making Snoke Darth Plagueis. Not necessarily him being alive in the movie, but kind of just making the fans register that in their mind that Snoke was Plagueis. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.